What's up everybody and welcome to this video. I think it's once again time to update you on our world trip situation and how the coronavirus pandemic is affecting our plans, if at all. And because I know that it's boring to look at a guy's face for 5 to 10 minutes while he's talking about different things, I will use some drone footage that I filmed over the last 3 days to show you some more interesting footage between different sections that I will be talking about. Like for example right now. So right now we are very close to our planned starting time of the world trip. We plan to go to Spain on July 14th and then from there on July 28th we plan to go to Iceland, and on July 30th or 31st we wanted to go to Canada. I will come back to that later, but our situation right now is like that. My wife has quit her job. She has had her last day on May 29th, and now she's got a month to prepare everything for the world trip because there's a lot of things to prepare for that. Not only her blog that she's planning to do, but also things related to the apartment. And I have handed in my resignation on the last week of May, and my contract will be finished by July 31st. But because I still have 2.5 weeks of vacation that I am allowed to take this year, and I've got some overtime, I will have my last working day on the first week of July, like the 3rd or 4th of July. Or maybe even earlier, I'm not exactly sure about that. As it looks at the moment, it might actually be July 2nd, but that's only if I'm not cutting any overtime until then. And that obviously means that by mid-July, both of us will be out of work, out of jobs. And we have also terminated our contract on our rented apartment by the end of June. So I'd almost say that we'll be homeless by July 1st, which isn't actually true because I will be spending 2 weeks until July 14th at my brother's place, and then I will be going to Spain on July 14th. So as it stands at the moment, and thanks to some good news coming from Europe, I will be able to travel in Europe. Because if you didn't know, the EU and the EFTA countries wanted to open their borders until July 6th, I think, or July 8th. Not really sure, but they even moved it earlier, and now I think already by mid-June they want to open all the borders within the EU and EFTA. We are traveling to Iceland as it stands at the moment, and if we cannot go to Canada or the US, we will probably spend some time in Iceland and Norway. So that's very good news for us. So as I said, we still plan to fly to Spain on July 14th. That didn't change so far, and also the flight didn't get cancelled. But obviously the wedding that was supposed to happen in Portugal, I think on July 19th, that one has been cancelled. But it gives me 2 weeks to travel in Spain, well, to spend time in Spain. And we plan to spend 1 week traveling in Spain with the car that we rented or that we will be renting. And then we will spend 1 week at my parents' place in northwestern Spain and enjoy some relaxing time before going on the world trip. That hopefully will happen. The plan was to go to Iceland on July 28th or July 29th, and that still stands. The flight hasn't been cancelled so far. Iceland is supposed to open until then. That's the good news. The bad news is that the flight from Iceland on July 30th or 31st to Canada, that one has been cancelled. I'm not sure what that means yet. There might be a slight chance that Canada will open its borders until the end of July or the beginning of August. Maybe they won't. In that case, we would spend some more time in Europe. If they open the borders, we will look for a flight to get over there. And after the first week in Canada, we wanted to go to the US. We still don't know if they will open the borders. It might also be that we will go directly to the US by August 5th, I think. Yeah, it's my birthday when we are supposed to fly from Canada to Vancouver, from Canada to LA. From Vancouver to LA, is what I wanted to say. We are pretty open and flexible when it comes to that because, well, as we said, we don't have an apartment, we don't have any jobs. Well, we won't have an apartment, we won't have any jobs by then, so we can decide flexibly. The next step after the US would be Mexico. It's pretty bad over there as far as I know, so not sure if our trip by the end of August will happen. By then I would get annoyed if even our South America trip has to be postponed or cancelled until further notice. Another thing, well, from the US and Canada, nothing in itself has been cancelled except one stay by the Grand Canyon North Rim in the US. They have the rules that they have to apply now of social distancing, and then they had to cancel like every second room because of that. So they had to cancel our room. But if we will be able to go to the US, I still plan to stay at that place and just pay a little bit more for a more superior room that is available or that will be available. Luckily, we are pretty well off money-wise, especially thanks to my wife's bonus. We managed to save the amount that we intended to save for the world trip and even a little bit more. Nothing will stand in the way of a world trip of at least 9 months. Well, as soon as we can travel at least. We could probably spend 1 year in Spain without even having to use like 20% of our budget. Yeah, that's practically everything that I wanted to say regarding my world trip. Pretty soon we will have to start packing everything, and luckily we can also store everything that we want to keep in my brother's cellar because he's got a huge cellar. So we won't have to rent a box to store our stuff that we want to keep. I mean, it's not even that much, but still saving like $100 each month would still make a big difference. I did buy a new camera. It's still a Nikon camera. Well, I won't make any secret out of it. We did buy the Nikon Z50 with the 2 lenses. So far, I'm actually very impressed with the photography quality of the camera. I didn't expect it to be that sharp for, well, pretty small crop factor camera. The photos that I took so far look way sharper than the ones in the D7100 with its kit lenses. I did actually sell the D7100 as I intended, and I've also already sold the DJI Mavic Air 1. So now I've only got the DJI Mavic Mini and the Nikon Z50, the Nikon Z6, and then there's in here I have another toy that I've ordered because it had a very good price. I've always been thinking about purchasing it for the world trip because I think that it can be very helpful for some situations. I know it's not a 360 camera, but if you want, you can guess what it is. I will do an unboxing, or, well, not really an unboxing because unboxings are boring, but more like a preview of this camera in a future video, probably even next week's video. But I'm pretty sure that's everything that I wanted to say today. And as I've said, the biggest effect that the pandemic has is, well, that everything is pretty unknown at the moment. But at least Europe will be open by then, so we will be able to do some traveling, even if it's not exactly what we plan to do. Please, Canada and US open soon so that we can travel there. Thank you very much for watching and see you again next week. Bye bye.